Good morning, everyone. According to World Cancer Report, 1 in 10 Indians will develop cancer during their lifetime, and 1 in 15 Indians will die of cancer. WHO has warned that global cancer rates could rise up by 60% over the next 20 years unless cancer care is ramped up in low middle income countries. And all this can just be prevented with basic guidelines. Welcome to the latest episode of Wake Up to Health Talks. Today we have with us Dr. Priya Tiwari, a leading oncologist from Delhi. And today we talk to her about cancer and how can we overcome it together. Welcome, doctor. So, ma'am, before going forward, as I was mentioning previously also, that there are a lot of misconceptions and there are a lot of myths associated with cancer. Whenever you hear cancer, you always assume the worst. Can you shed some light on this? What are the misconceptions and what is the correct truth?
Okay, thank you. And thank you for the invitation. Thank you for the question. So yes, I agree completely. There are a lot of misconceptions about cancers. The common misconception that we get is that everybody thinks that cancer is a death sentence. This is not a right statement. Now we do have treatment modalities and diagnosing modalities where we can diagnose cancer in time, where we can treat it. So we have a lot of newer surgical techniques. We have a lot of newer chemotherapy options. We have a lot of advancements in immunotherapy and targeted therapies with which patients can be treated and they are living long and they are getting fully cured also. So this is one of the most common misconception that we see. Mm-hmm. The second misconception is that if somebody develops cancer, they feel, I don't have a risk factor. I don't smoke. I don't take alcohol. Why did I get cancer at all? So this is also one of the problems that we face. Cancer, anybody can develop cancer. Cancer is a disease of old age. Like you can get stroke in old age, you can get heart attacks in old age. Similarly, cancer can happen to anybody and it's more commonly seen with increasing age. So it's not necessary that you will have risk factors to have cancers. If you don't have risk factors like smoking, alcohol, a poor lifestyle, then also anybody can have cancer. So these are the common misconceptions that we see usually.
And thank you for that. And, I keep on hearing that even if you do get cancer, if you detect it in your early stages, you can actually avoid it. There was this statistic that I heard that in Western countries, more than 50% of the cancers get cured because they're detected in early stages. So as you said that, removing this misconception is extremely important, but knowing, to detect it in the earlier stages is also important. So I was just wondering, what are these signs and symptoms that one should look out for to know whether, this can be cancer or not?
Oh, so very good question. So, the meaning is by early detection, the first step is to become aware and be informed. So, the problem is people don't know that disease like cancer exists. Yes, it's true. Even if you go to small towns, people know about infections. They know about heart attacks, but they don't know about cancers. So until and unless you don't know about a disease, it is common that it won't get diagnosed. Secondly, for certain cancers, especially like breast cancers, there's lot of stigma attached to it. Mm-hmm. A female who develops a lump in the breast, she will take months even to tell her husband that there is a lump in the breast. So by the time it goes in many organs of the body, then only she will go to a doctor. So there's a lot of stigma attached. So yes, the thing is, because there is less of awareness, people don't know where to go. Second thing is, people don't know about signs and symptoms, as you rightly pointed out. Mm-hmm. So the common example I give is that at some point of time, there was a campaign for tuberculosis awareness going on all the news channels, that any cough which lasts for 2 or 3 weeks could be tuberculosis. Mm-hmm. Any cough lasting for more than 2 or 3 weeks can also be cancer. By that statement, I mean that you have any new onset symptom in your body, which lasts for more than 2 to 3 weeks, you go to a doctor, take simple medicines and does not go away. These could be the symptoms of cancer. So cancer, when it starts, mimics commonly occurring disease. Like if it is chest or lung cancer, it can mimic cough, breathing problems. You can simply have a chest pain, that the kind we have usually in a common cold also. If there could be possibility that if you have cancer sitting in your abdomen or stomach, you will have simple abdominal pain, or sometimes there will be symptoms of dyspepsia. People will take some kind of treatment to relieve the dyspepsia, but the dyspepsia does not go away. It keeps worsening, getting worse and worse, and sometimes there could be blood during while vomiting. So that could be an alarming symptoms. So when cancer starts, it mimics commonly occurring diseases, and but with the treatment or with the duration, it tends to get worse. So any new onset symptom which lasts for 2 to 3 weeks does not go away, you should definitely go to a doctor and get yourself investigated. That is the only way to pick it up in time. The problem with cancer is that if you're not picking it up in the time, it might spread in the many other organ in the body, and that is why you have so much of fear, because that is the stage 4 or the metastatic cancer, which can kill. But in stage 1, 2, and 3, those are all the localized form of cancers where you can actually cure the patients fully, and then the patient has a chance to live a normal life.
That's brilliant. I think that gives us a lot of hope to just to know that if it's in stage 1, 2, and 3, it can get cured and can get treated. So even if you see a small change in your lifestyle, in your health, you should not be ashamed, and you should consult a doctor immediately, because that can be a sign of any major disease, not only cancer. I also had one question, since you said that it might be possible. We hear cases that they don't drink, they don't smoke, they don't do anything, and yet they get cancer. Are there any reasons behind it? And are there any lifestyle changes that lifestyle habits that we should look out for, just to prevent this cancer altogether?
So there are two ways to address this question. So like I already said, that cancer develops simply because the cells undergo wear and tear as a process of aging, as part of the aging. Exactly. So these wear and tear, they affect the cells in the body, they affect the DNA in the body, and the cancers arise when the DNA starts to get damaged. But yes, there are ways whereby which you can decrease this wear and tear, isn't it? A healthy lifestyle is key to retard aging. A healthy lifestyle is key to keep your DNA healthy, and a healthy lifestyle is a way forward to decrease your chance of having cancer. So when I say a healthy lifestyle, what do I mean? So people have a general idea what exactly does that mean. But I am talking about the lifestyle where you can actually reduce the risk of having cancer. So as I already said, people know about these smoking, alcohol. So avoid that completely. This will make me less popular, I think, this statement, at least the alcohol part. But yes, that's true. Even a small amount of consumption of alcohol increases your risk of having breast cancer and intestinal cancers. So it should be avoided. Second thing is okay, maybe social drinking, maybe yes, but not
keep
more
it
than
to
that.
a minimum.
Yes, keep it to minimum. That's the key to it. Second thing is, so if you are somebody who does not do a physical activity or exercise, then your risk of cancer is higher compared to somebody who does physical activity or exercise at least 5 days in a week for half an hour. So by physical activity, I mean brisk aerobic activity like jogging, walking at brisk pace, and running, cycling. So all those are good activities to help. Third thing is the role of diet. Now people think that diet is important, but yes, diet is very important, but what kind of diet? Decrease your intake of red meat and processed meat. The processed meat has been classified as class 1 carcinogen by World Health Organization. So risk of with processed meat, the kind of chemicals they use in processing and the kind of molecules are formed inside the meat after the processing has a cancer causing tendencies. Then increase roughage and fiber in your diet. Now, why roughage and fiber? People think that why the roughage and why this fiber? How can that cause cancer or protect us from cancer? So, whatever you eat, it affects the bacteria inside your gut. Your gut has bacteria. Now, there are healthy type of bacteria and there are bad type of bacteria. So these bacteria, what they do is they release certain kind of chemicals inside the body. The one which are not good for your body release harmful chemicals. Now, whatever you eat has a direct effect over these kind of bacteria. So, the roughage-rich diet, it causes changes in the flora of your gut, which can give rise to a healthy gut, where you have less of toxins released by these bacteria. So, these are the bacteria which can release certain toxins, certain chemicals, which can actually damage your body. Third and very important thing is that obesity. Now, people don't know that even obesity causes cancers. Obesity can cause many type of cancers. Breast cancer, stomach cancer, intestinal cancer, pancreas cancer, kidneys cancer. The list is increasing. The new cancers are being added day by day.
That's true.
Obesity means the fat cells inside the body, if they increase, they cause a particular kind of stress to the body, which can again cause harmful reactions inside your body, causing cancer, propagation of cancer mediated mechanism. And second thing is they cause changes in your body's hormonal system. Hormones are good, but persistently imbalances in your hormones in the body can again give rise to cancer mechanisms in the body. So it has been seen that people who are obese are also at risk of many other kinds of cancer, the list that I just enumerated. A very important fact is that people don't know, and we have actually made a video on this, is the timing of the meal. So what you eat is very important, but at what particular time of the day, especially the dinner that you have. So why dinner is very important? If you have a dinner before 9 p.m., Indians have tendency to take late dinners. We work late and we have late meals. We sleep also late. So you have a dinner at least 2 hours before the sleep time and at least before 9 p.m. It has now been shown that it also reduces your chances of having cancer. It has many other health benefits, but it reduces your chances of having cancer. Because it has been seen that when you have an early dinner, it helps to improve your body metabolism. Improved body metabolism keeps healthy cells, means healthy DNA, and that means reducing your chance of cancers.
That's I think the last point, especially to have dinner before sleep, 2 hours before sleep. I think I didn't know this. My parents keep on telling me, my grandparents keep on telling me that it's good to have an early dinner, but I never knew that this could actually be linked to cancer. So I think that is something, that nugget of information actually can help everyone, not only me. And thank you very much. This especially has been very insightful. And before we conclude, while we're talking about how to prevent cancer and how cancer can be cured, what if I do get cancer? This is a question that everyone has in their minds, that okay, I am doing everything right, but as you said, this can't be controlled. What if I do get cancer? What is the what is the initial 5 things you tell your patients and their family members when they get detected of cancer? It's important to stay strong at that time. It's important to not let go of hope. So what are those initial things that you tell these patients and their family members so that they can cope?
So this is a very important point that you are now highlighting. When a person walks in with the diagnosis of cancer, they think that they must have done something wrong. They must have followed some wrong instruction, or they would have left something out. There is a lot of talk. We're talking about a healthy lifestyle. They think that they have not followed a healthy lifestyle, and that is why they have got cancer. Like I said, anybody can get cancer. You're following a healthy lifestyle, it decreases your risk, but it does not make it zero. So first of all, the most important thing is don't carry a guilt. It's very important to understand that anybody, in spite of all precautions, can carry a guilt. A guilt propagates a negative mindset, which has a bearing on the treatment. So have no guilt. Don't carry a guilt. That is very important. Second thing is, what is important is to have a proper support system. It's very important because the battle might be long and you need people around you who are quite supportive. You'll get a lot of people to give you all kinds of advices. Don't take chemo, don't go to this doctor, maybe go to multiple doctors. So you get a lot of people with a lot of advices, eat this, don't eat this, all kinds of advices. But it's very important to have a closed group and a good support group. So as soon as you have a diagnosis of cancer, try making that. Third thing is that if you have any concern or a problem that you want to address, directly talk to your doctor. What people do is they go home with a lot of questions and they start checking it over internet. Now on internet there is a lot of noise. You have to filter music out of the noise, and it becomes a very difficult and tedious task. And at the end, you just get more and more panicky. So it's very important that all your concerns you ask your doctors. And if you feel that if your concerns are not being addressed because the doctor has less time, then you ask what could be the authentic internet sources where you can get a credible information about the doubts that you are carrying. And it is very much possible for the doctors to share that kind of information. Many of times what happens, suppose if you have certain concerns, especially like if you have been advised chemotherapy. Now people think that the chemotherapy, there's a lot of fear about chemotherapies. The chemotherapies which is now being given is much safer than what it was before. There is a better supportive treatment also available. But if you're not getting a proper picture, then you ask other patients who have been undergoing chemotherapies and what their experiences have been like, rather than blindly believing somebody who has not yet taken chemotherapy and just a general advice that you should not take chemotherapy. So ask your doctor, they'll suggest the names. So try talking to people who have had these experiences, not just because it will help you to get a picture clearly, but it will help you to make an informed decision.
That's true. I think having a support system can work very well with your family as well. And as you very well said, that talk to the people who are undergoing this a similar experience. That can help. Having a support group there as well. These might just be strangers, but they can actually help you come out of this, because at that point of time you need support. I think that's the.
And with my experience, like it has been like the patients are quite willing to help other patients. It's like we had fear, we passed through the same phase. We are more than willing to help other people. It's like a journey and a story.
That's a community, I think, that any cancer patient should tap into. Yes. Thank you, doctor. It has been extremely insightful and it has been helpful for me, and I hope it will be helpful for my viewers as well. And the key takeaway I will take away from this is to definitely have dinner 2 hours before you sleep.
Yes, please do that.
Even if you get cancer,
small steps goes long way. Small steps, they'll go long way.
Absolutely.
Small steps go long way.
Absolutely.
So one change in habit at a time. Yes. Why not?
Exactly. And to not lose hope. Even if you get detected of cancer, the technology is improving and you can get cured. And hold on to that support system, and we can all together fight it.
Oh, that's a good message. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much, doctor, for joining us today.
Bye. Take care. Thank you. Thanks for the invitation again.